Virgo, Gemini. Also, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising and cross watchers as well. What do we need to know for Gemini? First one coming out. We've got the Hermit. Okay, keep dealing with Virgo. Okay. The Fool, got Aquarius energy there. Maybe there is or isn't, I don't think there is any communication going on at the moment with something or someone, you know, blocked throat chakra, fears. Okay. Right, this Fool and this Hermit. Maybe somebody's embracing their spirituality, you know, embracing change. Okay. Any more for Gemini? Page of Wands, fire energy there. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay, that one kind of just jumped out. Nine of Wands. So maybe somebody's on the defense, you know, somebody could be feeling fed up. Maybe they want to go traveling and they can't because they feel trapped, restricted. Also, somebody could have withdrawn from social media, you know, disconnected from social media. Maybe they just want to be on their own with their thoughts, you know, listen to their head, you know, listen to their own voice, tap into their intuition, gain clarity, you know. Someone's definitely embracing their spiritual side here, spiritual awakening. You might want to embrace change, you know, take a leap of faith. Someone might want to communicate towards you. Also, someone here could be being cagey with their feelings. Definitely someone who's disconnected and not being truthful about something. You know, there's a closed throat chakra here, and that's why I keep clearing my throat. Maybe they're full of fear. You know, if they're just coming out of isolation, or if they're just coming out of hermit mode, you know, their throat chakra is going to be a bit rusty. Six of Cups. Three of Swords. Okay, so you could be dealing with a fellow air sign, and then we've got Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You could be dealing with, yeah, fellow air sign, or this could be your energy here as well. You could be suffering some sort of, you know, emotional turmoil, some sort of heartbreak, betrayal. Maybe somebody betrayed you from your past. You know, maybe you have a childhood memory that you need to heal from. You know, the possibilities are endless here. There could be a third party situation going on with you, Gemini. Okay. Someone's definitely being cagey about something. Maybe they're protecting their heart, you know, maybe they're guarded, you know. With this Six of Cups, you're definitely dealing with someone from your past. You know, there's high level of nostalgia here. Someone misses someone. They're sad. You know, maybe it's someone you've known since childhood. You know, this is the past card. Someone that's connected to their past, that is tied to their past, or misses something or someone from their past. Okay. But there's definitely a lot of thinking going on here. A lot of thinking with this Page of Wands and this Hermit. Someone wants to communicate, take the leap of faith. Maybe somebody wants to embrace change, feel liberated. You know, someone here's got that sense of adventure. Someone here's very spontaneous. You know, anyone with Three of Swords and the Six of Cups, please, for Gemini. Because there's air energy in this card, in this card here. In this reading, there's air energy. I do feel that some of you Geminis are dealing with some sort of heartbreak, betrayal, loss, some sort of pain and suffering going on. It's like your heart is sad because you miss someone. Maybe a third party interference, you know, sort of interfered with your connection with someone, you know, and that's what's making you sad. And someone could be being cagey, blocking out their feelings. You know, maybe somebody's heart is closed off. You know, also someone here could be quite protective of someone, you know, they're very vigilant here. And more on the Three of Swords. Definitely tied to something or someone from your past. You know, maybe somebody from your past wants to come back, reconcile with you, or you, them, you know. Remember this Nine of Wands? Someone's being cagey about something. Okay, Death, so you could be dealing with a Scorpio. Okay. Could be an ego death. Maybe someone needs to get rid of an ego death here. Maybe it's the death of a... someone's got separation problems here, like separation anxiety from someone. Could be something to do with their past. Maybe there's a painful childhood memory that you haven't healed from yet, you haven't gained closure from, you haven't healed from, you know, and maybe before you take that leap of faith here, Gemini, you need closure with something from your past, you know, because there's still pain in your heart. This is air energy, this is your energy. There's still pain, you know, there's still sadness there. Maybe you need clarity from it, you know. The Death card is there to tell you maybe you need closure from something, to let go of something, an old cycle, an old life, an old self, you know, something like that. Maybe your person needs to do that. There could be, obviously there's pain and suffering going on in the world, you know, we can't see our loved ones, we can't visit people, you know, we're separated from, from people that we love, which is causing you to feel sad here, Gemini. Four of Wands. Yeah, you're definitely missing someone. If it's not family, you know. Ooh, hang on a second. I can reach it. Okay. So we're all missing our loved ones, okay? We're all at home, we all feel stuck, we all feel trapped, okay? So Four of Wands, so, you know, there is definitely someone here that is going through some sort of separation anxiety, some sort of fear, panic, you know, something painful. Definitely be from being separated from your loved ones, you know, Gemini, you know, and you want to visit people and travel and go on holiday and, you know, maybe someone wants to get married. Someone could be in another commitment. Maybe that's coming to an end, you know. Whoever you're dealing with could be in another commitment, another relationship, tied to something from their past. But that's air energy. So I definitely feel that it's you going through some sort of inner emotional pain, inner emotional turmoil, separation from someone from your past. Maybe you miss them, you know. Four of Wands is celebrating happiness, someone getting married, getting engaged, you could be expecting here. And then we're on this Four of Wands and this Death card. There's a lot of, you know, thinking here. Maybe you want to communicate to someone, maybe someone wants to communicate towards you, you know, someone is overthinking a situation here. Someone could be going through transformation, because it's all about changes, transformation, rebirth as well, you know. Chariot, the Sun, maybe somebody wants to free themselves from a third-party situation, or they need to free themselves from something that's painful, some sort of painful thoughts. You know, it's something to do with when they were a child. I keep thinking they haven't gained closure from it. Something to do when they were little, something from childhood, you know, maybe there's a painful memory, you know, that someone here needs to heal from, gain closure from, you know. There is definitely a new cycle starting here. Okay, someone could be saying goodbye to something from their past, healing and learning from it and moving on. Okay, if this is your person, they could be craving liberation, freedom, you know, they want to be successful, you know, they want to, you know, I feel this person can't get their words out. There's always a bright side to a situation, you know. Not everything is dark and stormy, you know. It can't rain forever, you know. And this person, I feel, Gemini, that you've got a lot of career goals here, you know, a lot of prospects. You know, maybe an opportunity has been presented to you, but you can't travel until this lockdown's been lifted. You might want to go traveling, go on holiday. You know, the Chariot is about movement and control and power and structure and order. You know, maybe somebody wants to bring order to a situation, you know. Again, with the divine intervention, you know, someone here could be very spiritual. This is about embracing your inner child as well. Maybe you want to go back to a fun memory from your childhood. Tell me more about the Sun card and this Chariot. Okay, so usually I don't read reversals, but this has come out in reverse, so I guess it was meant to be. Okay. Ten of Swords in reverse. So again, I feel that someone isn't letting go of something, some sort of cycle. Someone could be definitely be tied to something from their past here. Ten of Swords in reverse. So something's not over, you know, maybe something is causing someone to feel stagnant, you know, someone feels stuck in a cycle, you know. It's definitely something to do with someone's past. It could be you, maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you want this world pandemic thing to be over. Maybe you've gone off social media here, Gemini. There's some sort of cycle that hasn't completed yet. You know, whether it be to do with what's going on in the world. You want the pain and the suffering to stop. You miss your loved ones. You know, it's hard being in separation from your loved ones. You want to visit people, you want to travel, you can't. You feel trapped, restricted. All you can do is contact people over the phone at the moment. You know, I feel that you've got all this energy and you're all raring to go, but you can't go anywhere at the moment, you know. Really wanting to celebrate something with someone, you know, whether it be if you're expecting, getting married, getting engaged. No one can go to their family at the moment, you know, and it's hard. You miss freedom, you miss liberation, you feel trapped. There's definitely something that someone wants to communicate to someone, but they can't. You know, with the Ten of Swords in reverse, you know, like I said, it feels like someone is lacking to let go of a cycle, you know, or they're sort of trapped in fear that something's never going to be over, and they can't seem to get rid of that sort of frightened ego thing. Why is the Ten of Swords in reverse? 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 Yeah, someone is stuck. Look, it could be you, or it could be who you're dealing with, but this is air energy. So this is you, Gemini. You could be dealing with a fellow air sign, but someone here is stuck, stagnant. Okay, Two of Swords, trapped in fear, trapped in subconscious fears, worries, doubts. You know, there's a sort of mental imprisonment here going on. It's like you're imprisoned in your own thoughts. You're a prisoner to your own thoughts. You know, at a crossroads, feeling stagnant and feeling stuck and unable to make a decision. You know, maybe your person, if it's a romantic nature, is stuck in a third party situation. Multiple lovers, multiple people around them, and they don't know how to make a choice. They could be tied to something from their past, and that's what's causing delays here. You know, could be same-sex relationship here. Okay. But someone here feels very stuck, and they're not openly communicating something to someone, and that's why this cycle feels, you know, stuck with this Two of Swords. Wow. Someone's definitely got huge communication problems here. You know, maybe that's why the Hermit card's there, because, you know, all the answers you seek, you know, the guidance, you know, all the power is from within you. You just have to seek within yourself, go within yourself. You know, maybe you're trying to connect with this person on the 5D. You know, this could have been going on for 6 years, 6 days, 6 months, 2 years, you know. Anyone on this Two of Swords? We're all feeling, you know, stuck. We're all feeling trapped. You know, we're all feeling restricted. You know, right. Someone's definitely in a third party situation. That's 2 threes plus the lovers. You know, there's multiple lovers around your person and they don't know how to make a decision. It's like they're thinking about you and contacting you, you know, but they need to wrap up things with this third party situation. Yeah, they feel stuck. Look, they can't make a decision. More than one lover around them, more than one choice, because the lovers and the Two of Swords, that's choices and decisions. They need to make a decision, a conscious decision. Yeah, this person might not be mentally stable at the moment, you know, and that's why they're in a hermit mode. Look, isolation. They have to go within, you know, to seek guidance, to gain clarity, to go within, you know, before they communicate, before they come towards you. But someone here is definitely in another relationship, in another commitment, and this cycle seems to be lingering. Look, they can't seem to get themselves out of it. You know, they need to make a decision, make a choice. You know, are they going to stay tied to someone from their past, or are they going to have a new start and motivate themselves out of this? You know, they definitely want to be free because they feel trapped. Someone could be around someone that's got alcohol problems. Yeah, but they're definitely tied to something from their past. Someone from their past, third party situation. That's 2 threes there. Yeah, very conflicted. Yeah, maybe you're feeling stuck, Gemini. You're at a crossroads. You know, you feel, should you walk away? Is it worth it? Is it worth the wait? Should you walk away? You know, it's causing you to have heartbreak and feel sad. High Priestess. I do feel here, Gemini, that if this is you, or whether it's you or your person, okay, give me a second, whether this is you or it's your person, okay, I do feel that the High Priestess has popped up. Yes, embracing your spirituality, being in tune with your intuition, between the conscious and the subconscious. You know, she's always between 2 realms, you know. She sees everything. She's very intuitive. She's all about the knowledge. She studies people. The High Priestess, things that are hidden. But the reason why the High Priestess has popped up, this is letting me know that you already know the answer to your question, or to your stagnation, to your crossroads. You already know the answer. Yeah, all the answers you seek, they're within reach. Okay, so whatever it is that you can't communicate right now, or whatever it is that your person can't communicate to you right now, all the answers you need, I think it's right in front of you, and you know what that is, Gemini. That's why the High Priestess has popped up. Yeah, because she's all about wisdom, knowledge, spirituality, you know, and she masters that. As I said, she's very intuitive, you know, and I feel that the answers that you need is right in front of you. You just have to look for the sign, whatever it is that's making you feel stuck, or your person, and you, like I said, stagnation, you're unable to make a decision. The answers that you seek, I think you already know what the answer is. Okay? You already know the answer. And then around this High Priestess, also she can represent a female competitor as well. There is definitely some sort of someone here who is stuck and unable to make a decision between two people. Okay, this person can't seem to resolve these conflicts. Okay, I think this is all going on in their head. We've got another reversal there. Look, 5 of Wands in reverse. They can't seem to resolve something, and maybe that's why the High Priestess and the Hermit's there. It's telling you to go within instead of creating chaos in your head, or, you know, creating destruction in your head and feeling stuck and trapped in subconscious spheres in your mind, you know, imprisoned in your own thoughts. You know, the High Priestess and the Hermit is there saying to just stop and, you know, be at a standstill, be at a halt, go within, and all the answers you're looking for, the answers you are seeking, they're right in front of you. You already know the answer. Your subconscious mind is telling you. You already know the answer. You know, or your person, you already know the answer. You're being subconsciously told that it's time to end a cycle, you know. It's time for it to, you know, come to an end so that better things can come in, okay? Free yourself from your thoughts, free yourself from conflict, mental imprisonment, you know. You already know the answer. You know, you're being subconsciously told. Yeah? And someone here is definitely craving freedom and liberation here. Okay? Achievement, success, you know, victory, just happiness, joy. You know, you miss happier times. Someone here definitely wants to go back to happier times, you know, from their childhood. You know, a memory, a place. But yeah, I think that's why the High Priestess has popped up. Because you're being it's like you're subconsciously saying, you know, I know the answer. I just have to look around me. You know, you look around you, you see the signs, you see the messages, you see the synchronicities, you're being told, you're being shown. But in regards to mental conflict, I believe the High Priestess has popped up because it's saying you can free yourself from this mental chitter-chatter, conflict, stagnation, stuckness, right? You can get yourself out of it. There will be a peaceful resolution. This cycle that's causing you all this conflict and fights and rows, you know, it will end, you know. The heart will heal, you know. Only time will tell, you know. It's like someone is between worlds at the moment, you know, conscious and subconscious. But usually when the High Priestess pops up, it tells you to embrace your spirituality, tap into your intuition, tune in with your divine self, okay, and mastering. She masters knowledge as well, but you know, you already know the answer to your problem. Yeah, you already know the answer to your problem. So whether it be you or your person, Gemini, you already know the answer. The answers that you seek are within you. Alright, Gemini. Okay, I hope it resonated, I hope it helped, I hope it was insightful. Let me know in the comments section. If you're new, give me a like, give me a subscribe, join my channel. If you want to know anything, just give me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, and I'll see you again real soon, Gemini, with some more readings. Sending you so much love and blessings. Bye, Gemini.